Today in the kitchen, we're going back in time to experience what baking was like in the early 20th century, a time when meals were homemade with wholesome ingredients instead of lots of preservatives and artificial sweeteners. I'm back with cooking enthusiasts Michael and Maureen Bonnardi. Michael wrote the cookbook, Ralph's Recipes, to honor and preserve some of his family's treasured recipes. Welcome back.
Good to see you again.
Okay, so what are we making today?
We're making crumb cake. This is recipe number 13 in the book.
And this is something you guys do at home?
All the time. Yeah, we make it a lot. And
it
doesn't last very long. It tastes great. It only has 9 ingredients, and you can't get any more basic than this. I mean, if you went to the store and bought a crumb cake or a coffee cake, you'd have 30 to 40 ingredients for all these artificial additives, and it's this is much more natural.
That's true. And the cookbook itself is from your maternal grandparents, is that right?
That's correct, my mother's parents.
And the recipe, Maureen, we were talking earlier that, oftentimes when it's a family recipe, it never quite tastes as good as the way they do it.
Exactly, because a lot of the times we're lucky that it's written down at all, because a lot of times they just knew how to do it. You knew what your plan was, so to actually have had it preserved is a plus. And then this particular recipe has quite a few handwritten changes, so we've tried to make it each way. What's crossed out? Well, why did they cross that out? And then you make it into liquid each, and we found out.
Michael, you said the original recipe actually has a lot of things crossed out.
A lot of things are changed. They would add a cup of sugar, or add a little bit more flour, or add more milk. And they would experiment. So today's recipes are so kind of, paint by the numbers, and you make it exactly. This is more an experience. And they would say, well, we'd like to make it this way, or we want to have it that way. So you'd add a little bit more, take a little bit out, and you get your finished product.
Well, you almost have to be there when they're making it, but you have the next best thing. You had the original recipe, and you get to work on it in your own kitchen.
And I think we've nailed this one.
You really have nailed this one.
I think we've got this one
All right,
good.
let's go through the ingredients.
Okay.
So it's pretty basic. It's just your flour, sugar, and butter, room temperature cubed, and milk, egg, baking powder, pinch of salt, cinnamon, and vanilla. And one great little story in the book is in that particular recipe it says 2 small coffee cups was their measurement.
Oh my goodness.
Of flour, with that being, so we went, a small coffee cup back in the day was a cup. So, you go borrow a cup of sugar or borrow a cup of flour.
Right.
That's what it was. So we wanted to show you that
it truly is. That truly is one cup of
That's
flour?
a cup. That's a cup. Let me just
now, is it okay to use the what kind of flour? instead of the all-purpose flour, you can use.
I've actually tried different flours too,
and it works.
It does. It's fine.
Okay.
And the next thing I want to do is the gluten-free flour. I want to try next because I have a family member with gluten, so I'm going to do that one next to try it.
Oh,
and see
let
how
me
it
know
comes out.
how that works out, because I'd like to try that one as well.
So you just pour in the first 3 ingredients.
And you chopped up the butter.
I did, because it gets to room temperature faster that way, I think, and more consistent. So when you do mix it, because you just want to mix these 3 ingredients together, and it's not going to be particularly smooth. You want it to almost have like a cornmeal-y feel. The butter will chunk its way through there, and that seems to work when it cooks, that it bursts into the rest of the cake. So
now, you could make it with an old blender like we have at home. We have the old blender, but you'd be there all day. So
absolutely.
It's not cheating.
I
It's a modern
like the
convenience.
KitchenAid. Me too. I like the KitchenAid.
I mean, I'm trying to speed it along here. I wouldn't recommend doing that. But yeah, there's going back in time, and then there's we've got our trusty
we
friends
need this
here.
now. We've become so dependent on our.
But to give you an idea, you would want to get this a little bit more incorporated. But to show you,
you want it crumbly.
Crumbly,
Right.
a little less crumbly than it is here. But then when you get it a few more minutes, then you're going to take out a half a cup of this mixture.
Okay.
A little backwards here.
We have about
and
2 minutes.
Put it to the side. It goes quick now.
Okay.
And then put the cinnamon in there.
Cinnamon right in.
Okay.
And then the rest.
Cinnamon.
A little whisk there. You
This
can
one
whisk.
too?
No, just
just the cinnamon.
Yep.
Okay.
You just pour everything else
I almost
in.
messed up that one.
The egg,
Okay.
3/4 cup of milk, your vanilla, and then your baking powder.
Oh, the
What
cinnamon
you're going to do
smells
with
so
that is you're
good.
going to add that to the top.
Oh, this is the
It's a shortcut. I mean, I have a
like the
shortcut. So it's
topping.
going to look like this when you get it into a greased and floured 9x9 pan, or whichever round pan too.
Right.
So
Can I
we'll
just tell you, it smells so good in here.
your cinnamon and vanilla.
Oh, the cinnamon. Okay,
So
here
after
we go.
you've got this all mixed,
Yes.
your butter wouldn't have stuck as much.
So,
It's a little,
so your batter's in the pan now.
right.
Correct.
Sprinkle this on top.
Okay.
My recommendation is to make sure you get to the edges.
And if the butter's a little chunky, that's fine, because
It's
will
gonna melt,
melt.
right?
Right.
Now, save a little bit left in here while you're doing this. Here's a little trick I learned in my practice. We've made this one a lot. Is take a spatula and just like you would do maybe with a marble cake,
yes.
pour it through. And you're going to find a nice ribbon of cinnamon when you're done.
So every bite you take.
Because the
Incorporate.
first time I
Taste
didn't
it.
do it, and it was delicious, but a lot of my cinnamon, which I love,
Was right on the top.
and flaked off. Yeah.
Okay.
So you just do this.
What a great idea.
And don't worry about if there's a hole or whatever. It bakes right in. And then the little bit I like to do is cover up the wet parts again.
Okay.
more
So that's why
cinnamon
you
will
say
stick.
save it.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay, so take note. This is
That's
is
a
this,
trick. It's
This
one of
is
my-
a
yeah,
trick.
I
Okay.
just
and
discovered this
Is
trick.
it in the cookbook?
No,
No,
no.
so this is the
was-
beauty of the
okay.
book. I mean, I could have written the changes, but then it would have been my recipe
Right.
and not
But
theirs.
exactly.
So we want, like you made the chop suey at home.
Yeah.
You made it your way. So that
Yes,
was the
I
purpose
did.
of the book.
Okay, and look how beautiful
And that's- I was just
it
gonna say,
looks
it-
after. Well, here's what it looks like in the
Right.
And then it
in
comes
the
out.
pan,
Watch
and it
your
comes
hands.
out.
It's hot.
And look at this, and then
350
350
degrees
for how long?
30 minutes.
About
That's
30
it?
minutes.
30
Yep.
minutes.
And look at this, and then we have some beautifully cut up pieces over here as well. I cannot
enjoy.
wait.
I
It
know.
looks and smells fabulous. Of course, we have the recipe on our
On the
website.
website
correct.
and get it at ralphsrecipes.com too.
That's right.
Thank you for being here with us.
Thank you very much.